Yes, everyone, welcome back. We are the survivors. We are here to stay. No one is going anywhere in terms of the Spurs camp. We are here to stay in the Premier League. It did feel like at one stage it was going to happen. Don't get me wrong. We do also, I think, simultaneously maybe have that ego about us, that naivete of maybe feeling like we're too big to go down. Almost felt like the board certainly thought that with the way that they've been operating this season, really, especially in January, how long they took to even bring in someone like De Zerbi in the first place. They seem to think we were too big to go down. Boy, did it get close. And also, we did have to rely on a little slip up from one of those teams of West Ham, Forest, and Leeds. And we thought maybe two, maybe if not all three of them would slip up at some stage. That was not the case. In fact, almost all of them stayed in flying form almost up until really the very end. Just West Ham had a 2 or 3 game spell there where they probably look back on some of those games that they maybe should have gotten more from. And we took advantage of it with the timing of hiring De Zerbi. And Dave, I think we are all relieved. We are all absolutely breathing huge sighs of relief. But at the same time, I also kind of woke up today, not like a feeling of guilty, but also like a feeling of like we got away with it massively, big time. Because there was a stage where it felt like, yeah, there's no chance we're surviving. And we pulled out a miracle, and the miracle was De Zerbi, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I mean, like, even looking back at the goal celebration yesterday, the relief on our faces was absolutely palpable, And look, it's been a long, hard, stressful season for everybody involved in Tottenham Hotspur, the players, us fans, stuff like that. It's been a long, stressful season. But look, I'm one of them. I can't sit here and say I didn't see it coming. I did. I warned about it as soon as we hired Thomas Frank. I think Jerome, Eugene, and myself were on here, I think October, warning about where this was heading. You could see the signs of it. And so, and I remember saying, very early on in the season, strap in. It's going to be a long season. We're going to have to bump and grind every single point this season. We're going to have to. So I did see it coming. But look, I did wake up today. I felt like the weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulders. I can't deny it. It's relief. Like, I was never one that thought we needed to go down to the championship to rebuild. We've no European football next season. We can rebuild, over the course of this summer and heading into next season. Now, look, one common theme I've sort of took from a lot of the players' messages, Romero's, Madison's, people like that. They're all saying how wonderful the fan base is, but very quickly turn around and keeps mentioning, but putting everything back up to the board, sort of going, well, I hope they realize, what they've got here and start maximizing it. So it is relief, but that very then quickly turns around to, you can't ignore what got you into this situation, because if you want to get out of it, you have to very quickly start having an inquest, changing things so that you're never back here again. Now, look, I was very annoyed with the Lewis family and the ownership for not putting a message in the match day program yesterday. I think that's a big middle finger to the season ticket holders, basically what they done there. Now, I know Sharrington came out with a letter today. They sort of admitted that a lot of decisions in the past haven't been based on trying to be successful on the football pitch, and that they do have plans to try and put it right and this, that, and the other. But as Spurs fans, we've heard all this before. And then when you've got them coming out now admitting basically that they were lying before with all this sort of statements that they were putting out. So the trust is not there. And the only thing where you're going to gain trust back from the Spurs fans is by actions. So although it's relief, your attention quickly turns to, right, we have to start fixing this mess. And I know some people don't want to hear it. I know some people would rather just sit there and go, do you know what? We survived it. Don't want to ignore all the problems and sort of just move on. And I get that. By all means, if that's the way you want to do things, fine. But I'm one of them. I don't want to be here again next season. I don't think we will be under De Zerbi anyway. I think even if we went into the next season with the same squad under De Zerbi, I think he would have us mid-table. But that's not my ambition. So, of course, we need to get on this summer and start fixing things.
Yeah, I think that was
shambles.
I think you and I were dealing with that yesterday, right? So many people in the chat were simultaneously breathing sighs of relief, but also then immediately turning their attention towards the people that put us in this position in the first place, the people that were responsible for all the decisions that led up to this season, and the feeling that, well, if they're still around next season, like, is it going to really be all that different? And I think you're right by saying with De Zerbi, it won't be as catastrophically bad. but who's to say that all of a sudden they just right all of the wrongs and all the mistakes from this season? It's very likely that they repeat a lot of the same mistakes.
Well,
Knowing,
I just hope, Jack, they do realize the caliber of manager they have in Roberto De Zerbi, by the way.
yeah,
You know, and not to piss this opportunity up the wall, because look, since, you know, Poch, Jose, and Conte, we haven't really had a manager of this caliber. You know, the job that he's done can't be underestimated. You know, he walked into a squad that everybody thought was done. It was toast. It was going down. You know, he walked into a squad that has been bereft of confidence because previous managers, you know, you hear things coming out today that Tudor walked in and started screaming and shouting at the players like an army sergeant. You know, and then you hear, you know, a lot of the stuff that came out under Thomas Frank, that just, you know, basically telling them how bad they were and constantly worrying about the opposition rather than themselves and stuff. And, you know, and when De Zerbi came in, there was a big sort of uproar about it. You know, is he the right sort of personality? You know, is he too volatile? And, you know, to basically shut everyone up and not come in here and blame the fans and beg the fans to support. Just come in here, show a bit of leadership. This is how we're going to get out of it, and everyone else will follow. He's done an absolutely unbelievable job. And when you also listen to the words that Pep Guardiola has to say about him, you look at the job he done with Brighton in the Premier League. Well, if he took Brighton to Europe in the Premier League, imagine what he could do with Tottenham if we actually gave him some quality players to work with.
yeah. Let's bring in some people in the house, and then we'll get this fan show underway. Thanks to all the people that already have joined the queue, and thanks to anybody who does want to come on, have their say. Appreciate anybody who's already made themselves known in the chat. Please smash the like button as you're coming in, by the way, everybody. K32, good to see you nice and early. Hello, David, Jack, and everyone. Sorry I missed yesterday's epic result with you guys. Thanks for everything over the whole season. You guys were brilliant, and thanks for all your hard work. Thank you, K32, man. Sorry that you had to miss the one epic day that we've had this season. Really, there hasn't really been that many highs. I was thinking about that. Were there really any true highs of this season? There may be temporary like moments, but not anything that really lasted all that long. If I'm being perfectly honest, this will be finally a recovery. I wouldn't even call it a high. Let's just call it the recovery, the survival that will feel like a sigh of relief for definitely a while now. It feels like. Dropkick your teacher. Good to see you in the house. Yeah, we were catching up with people in the back end in terms of the just relegation and everything. I think I'm actually surprised we didn't start like 30 minutes late, to be fair. Wayne Bonner saying, good evening, my fellow masochists. I hope you're all well and looking forward to the preseason shenanigans. Back to where we started. Wayne Bonner, big up to you. Great comment, by the way. George Hill, 21 months. Big up Georgie, saying big up boys, long season, but we survived. Never want to go through this season. We need to go back. We need to back Roberto De Zerbi. Thanks for another great season, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Thank you so much, George.
Very, very kind, George. Look, 100%. We need to back Roberto De Zerbi. I think give the guy quality players. Know Europe next season. You know, could we catapult up the league? I'm going to put it out there. Could we do a Leicester? I know people are going to go, Dave, you're deluded, but I'm always told I'm wrong, and then turn out to be right. So you never know. But I, for one, I'm running to the bookies and putting a $5 on Tottenham. I do believe in De Zerbi.
K32, that's
if we end up doing it, I want the payout some of them early Leicester fans got.
Yeah. K32, that surprise away win to Villa was our saving grace. Thankfully, they had switched off and were concentrating on Europe. I still don't like the idea that people just wrote off that was still going to be an easy win, even if Villa were absolutely prioritizing the following game after that. It still wasn't going to be that easy to just rock up to their place and play in the manner that we did. But I do feel like that probably was the most important result of this season, really. And like, even though they weren't really as dramatically impressive as the Villa result, I think those draws ended up, playing a massive part, really, as much as we didn't really feel like they were right afterwards. When you look at the math from it, those draws ended up also being the difference maker, where we went into the last game of the season knowing that a draw or a win would be enough for us to get out, which I think also gives some of these players a lot more peace of mind, really. But I agree. Villa result, 100%. And I do think the draw against Leeds as well as against Brighton might have actually gone a long way. AK Shegs, member for 15 months. Haters dismayed. I'm back. Spurs are here to stay. We had to make it entertaining for the rest of the league, AK. If anything, we also hilariously stole a bit of the thunder and a bit of the attention away from Arsenal in the league title, because I don't think anybody wanted to acknowledge their league title. They probably wanted some sort of distraction from it all. And I guess we were that distraction, right? The prospect of Spurs being relegated, especially with the season that we've had of all the different managers, especially the amount of time, investment that we tried to put into Thomas Frank. Like everything was set up off the back of winning the Europa League. Like it was a pretty epic script, to be fair. And it was kind of nice in a way that maybe we've stolen a bit of the headlines from, the FA Cup winners, the Premier League winners, and Spurs are always the entertainment. We're always the entertainment. Always here to entertain.
By the way, welcome back, amigo. Good to have you back. I did explain to him what happened yesterday, Jack. In fairness, he took it well, because if that was me, I would have raged now. I've been here all season. What's going on?
He held on. He didn't report us, to be fair. Maybe we'll get a citation in the letter. We'll get a ticket from AK. Big up to you, sir. Wemberley one's in the house. Big up, Wemberley. Good to always have you in the house. Really appreciate your support, sir. Roberto De Zerbi's our only real hope right now moving forward. They had better bloody back, and a lot of people feeling that way for sure. Big up my man Colin's in here. Good to see you, Colin. And then we also have Chase Mullins. AC Milan fired everyone, including the coach, for not getting Champions League. We're getting we're keeping the two clowns who had direct involvement in where we are now. Absolutely shameless. Just a two-parter on this, Chase. Like, that's where I really didn't want to get relegated, because who's to say they were going to fire Vinay and Johan Lange if we got relegated? Then we're losing whatever hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds of revenue. Then they have to try to get us out of the position they put us in the first place. I just wouldn't trust really the ownership to be ruthless towards those guys and get us out of it, really. And I think they probably would have kept the likes of Vinay and Johan Lange to piece it together. And I think it only would have gotten worse or more frustrating from there, really. And then on the part of AC Milan, like, you're right. Like, they went into, I think, this season, I don't think they had any Europe or anything. So I think they were playing once a week like we will next season. And they had Allegri in charge, and they were doing great. And they actually slipped up pretty catastrophically. At one point, they think they were close to top of the league. So, yeah, proven to be ruthless over there. It's something that we should absolutely adapt.
Well, like, the problem I have is like, they've saying they've already undertook a lot of the change, but it didn't work. It didn't work. And that's my problem with it, and that's where I get frustrated. Johan Lange, just based on his recruitment alone, should be gone. We should never have hired him. He was kicked out of Villa because his recruitment was shit. Since they changed their guy recruiting, look where they are now. Now we're about to bring in Sebastian Kiel, if reports are to be believed. He was kicked out of Dortmund again for horrific recruitment. What are we doing here? Vinay sitting there at the end of the game, smiling yesterday. Smiling.
Yeah,
if I was in that stadium, that would have been enough to make me start screaming at the guy. The audacity. The absolute audacity. And look, the Lewis family couldn't even put a message in the program yesterday for the fans.
Yeah.
Again, hiding behind Sharrington again today. Where are they? They're saying they want to change. They're doing exactly what they've done for years. Joe Lewis and the family stayed quiet. Levy was there. Now they're still staying quiet. I'm fucking sick of it. They haven't changed one thing.
Chase, and exactly, they're clueless when it comes to footballing decisions like that. Big up, Chase. Really appreciate the support, by the way, my friend. Just going to welcome in some people, and then we do have to get this show underway.
One or two more comments quickly before you head down there. Who was that? I want to welcome in Paolo Maratti as well. Good to see you. Even the boys, hope you're all well after the game. All I felt was pain. I was crestfallen. I couldn't even celebrate. No, it was all relief, my man. And big up Shawnee Brown as well. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Any plans for the summer? Yep. Get away from here for the next 3 days. Can't wait. And big up Colin. Good to see you, my man. And Davey Hall as well. Great to see you, Mr.
Big
Hall.
up Dave Hall. Vandal Ross is in the house. Good to see you, Vandal. Ricky's in here too. Harmless Potato. Big up everyone and everyone calling in. Shout out to Harmless. Paul Brown. Always good to see you, Paul.
Big up, Paul.
Maddie Bynum. Big up Dave and Jack. In a pub with a handful of Spurs fans yesterday, we lifted the roof off singing. Yeah, you got to steal the show, Maddie. You got to steal the show. All good, lads. The chat seemed to like it. If you may have to put me in timeout more often. Yeah, a lot of people did find it.
But they weren't, though. They were actually begging us to reverse it. They're like, that's cruel.
Yeah, big up, AK. Good to have you back. Thanks for being tolerant. Appreciate you, Chase, by the way, and thank you, AK, for your patience with me. Let's get this show underway, though.
Big up Eltel, Roy Park, Mr. Harnet's in the building as well. Good to see you, Paddy. Come on, we survived, sir. Colin as well. Good to see you, my man, and Nomad. And Fazzy Radfar sneaking in here as well. Big up, Faz. But look, let's get it going.
Let's bring in the one and only Brad. Brad,
Hi guys, how's it going?
good. I've been joking to people that often leaders, right? There's Catherine the Great, there's like Igor or Ivan the Terrible, Roberto the Savior. Is he already kind of the legend? Is he basically already kind of having legend status, maybe as a
Well,
Spurs fan?
he's done an absolutely amazing job of really getting the players confident again more than anything and believing in themselves, which I think was half the problem because they're not bad players overall. I mean, they're not Premiership winning players, but they're certainly not Championship players. I don't think anyway. But yeah, he's done an amazing job coming in, and I think he's done it the right way. He's realised that we virtually got De Zerbi light basically. He wanted to do the basics to get us out of this horrible predicament we were in, and we'll see next season when we get probably the real version of De Zerbi or the 100% version of De Zerbi, with players coming back from injury. Madison, Kulusevski, Kudos. These sort of players, and hopefully other players that will buy. So. I'm not expecting us to, win the Premier League by any stretch of the imagination. You only have to look at and I know stats can be misleading, but in those 7 games, if we average that same amount of points for the whole season, we'd have finished 6, 1 point behind Liverpool in 5th. So, I think in that respect, I think we can definitely hope of an improvement next season. We're not in Europe, but which means that we're 1 game a week, and then you can concentrate on maybe going for a cup, League Cup or an FA Cup. So there are things to be optimistic about. I have to say that yesterday, we all celebrated the goal, we all celebrated the final whistle, but it was more relief than anything. I've seen some people on social media going, "Oh, these idiots, all celebrating, but they've almost got relegated." No, it's what you do. We're all just thoroughly relieved that we got out of it. And the atmosphere after the game in the South Stand, a lot of people there, but it wasn't like I've seen them celebrate after beating Chelsea or Arsenal, and they've gone mental. But it wasn't. It was quite a sort of a quietish crowd, which I think was just relief more than anything. And I'm absolutely exhausted. I think it's this week is the 10th anniversary of my father's passing, so I was very emotional at the final whistle because I just wondered what he would have made about it. I mean, I still vividly remember him taking to my first ever game. I just wonder what he would have made of what's been going on.
Maybe you can look at it, Brad, that maybe he was looking over you and made sure.
Maybe, maybe. I mean, I'm not religious, but I still sort of think that he's watching, sort of thing. And I know for a fact if he'd have been in Australia and still alive, he'd have had his because I get all the live games. He'd have been watching that game at 1, 2 in the morning, whenever it was. So I know that for a fact, and probably would have rang me even though I was at the game. He would have forgotten rang me. But yeah, I was absolutely exhausted. Stayed for a few drinks after the game in the ground. The trains were stuffed the whole day, so I had to walk all the way to Seven Sisters, and it was 32 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, the hottest May on record. So I just got home. I was just totally exhausted. Just ordered some food, and that was it. Sort of thing. Went to bed. But it was, it was just a relief to get it out of the way. And we've all been suffering over these last, months really. And I think the problem was that back in January the club forgot or didn't accept that we were in a relegation battle. But the fans, we all knew we were, and they should have sat. Even though I was behind the Frank appointment, I'll say that now. But come December or the West Ham game, ironically, he should have been sacked, should have been fired, and they should have got someone in. But that didn't happen. It's the past now. You can't worry about the past because it's gone.
Should have been sacked when we broke XG back to back. Record no XGs back to back. He should have been sacked. Brad, let me ask you though. You did after the game. De Zerbi did mention about maybe there's only 10 to 12 players that he wants to work with. He's going to got the rest. Is there maybe, you don't have to give us all the names. Is there a couple of names that you think need to stay in and a couple of names you want to see out the door?
I think
what would you do with João Paulini as well? Would you re-sign him?
Paulini, I would sign him. You could argue, there are better defensive midfielders in the league, blah, 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 but he's been immense for us this season. And immense in, scored some really good goals, immense in keeping us out of this. So I'd definitely sign him. The players I would let go. There's a lot out of contract. Obviously, Basuma's out of contract. Richarlison, I think, will go, or I want him to go. I want it. Mawani hasn't done anything. I want him to go. Sadly, regrettably, I think Morero should go because we'll get some money for him, and we've got this Viskovic coming over. And if you believe what the media is saying, the Sensimo or whatever his name is from Bournemouth, I think Dragusin will probably go.
Yeah.
I would like to keep. I think Solanke. I think we definitely need a striker. That's without a doubt.
Yeah.
But Solanke, okay, he didn't play a lot this season, but he has scored some important goals. So I'd keep him for the time being. But we do need to get another goal scoring player because, all right, we had a high bar with Kane and Son. Let's be honest. That's a difficult two players to replace. But there must be players out there that can score goals, even if and I think we have to realise that we're not going to get the top world-class players at the moment. Because why would they come to Tottenham? They wouldn't. We have to get the next level down, but good players. There are good players out there, and we've got to basically, and I think De Zerbi will be good at this, in the same way that Postecoglou was in selling the club. We've got Premier League football, we've got great training facilities, great ground, great support. We're based in London, which it can be attractive to some people. So we've got a lot of things there, and we've got to basically say, look, we're not in Europe this season, but you stay with us, make us stronger, and we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, it's got to change. I've seen a lot of, look, with the board, with the Charrington, I guess, yeah, maybe they should have put something in the programme. Maybe they didn't because at that time we didn't know whether we were staying up or down. I don't know. I read the thing from
as a season ticket holder, Brad, do you not find that a bit of a kick in the bollocks? Like the money that you sink into this club, even just to say they're grateful for you turning up week in, week out.
Yeah, no, you could do, but I think it was done on purpose to wait and see where we were. That's how to be fair, I was surprised it wasn't. I was surprised that Vinny didn't make the statement because I thought that's what he was brought in to do, to be the connection between the fans and the club and transparency, blah blah blah. But we haven't really heard from him in months. The things there was a lot of things in the statement that you'd expect them to say. Someone actually said that it's probably ChatGPT that did it. Well, that's the modern world. My manager uses that all the time. That's But I thought there was a couple of things that stood out to me. And look, we've got to. This is a new guy. I don't really know a lot about Charrington. He said, "Oh, there's a dog." He didn't say there's a dog, by the way, but he said that that football was not the football success was not behind our decisions, and that to me says it all. It's what the fans have been saying for years now. Is that football should be at the top of the pyramid. I don't think it has been at the top of the pyramid. So you've only got to hope that, let's face it, they've pretty close to getting their fingers burnt there. Money means a lot to these guys. And, we almost got relegated and left out of £250 million or whatever it might be. So I'm not going to beat myself up about, it all be the same until the season starts. And then maybe it might be just like it was before. And maybe, that will happen. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it now. I'm relieved. I'm exhausted. I'm going to enjoy the summer. Luckily, I like cricket, so I'm going to enjoy the summer. I'm going to enjoy the World Cup, all that sort of stuff now. I'm going to write some more songs because that's sort of taken a bit of a back burner lately. So I'm looking forward, just to see what happens. I like De Zerbi. I think, to me, he's a mixture of Postecoglou and Pochettino in the fact that Postecoglou attack. Pochettino was also attack, but under Pochettino, we would have had the best defensive record in the Premier League. So I'm hoping that will be what will happen next season. But yeah, I had one more thing to say then. It's gone from my head now. But yeah, it was. Yeah, they know that there's no way in the world that they will ever want to be in that position again, and it was. And I'm grateful that the players have come out now and said, no, this is embarrassment. This is not acceptable. And I think they, at the end of the day, they're human beings, whatever you think about them. So they must realise that. They're not robots. They must know, and you can be cynical. I'm one of the biggest cynics about people that make money, the rich people. I don't particularly like rich people, but, you've at the moment, you've got to say, okay. And also, the thing, the De Zerbi's got all the cards at the moment. He's come in, done the job, got us out, and he's actually said the right things. We've only got 10 or 11, 12 players. I want quality in here. I want top players in here.
I think Conte done something similar, though, didn't he?
Yeah,
They sort of really failed to build on the back of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with De Zerbi is that he'll go if that doesn't happen, like Conte did. And we won't blame him. And then, again, all hell will break loose,
I don't know what to make of the statement. On one hand, I'm sort of like, thank you for admitting, what the fans have been saying all along, about that success hasn't been at the forefront of their decision making. But like, at the same time, it's like, but is it the Lewis family still continue to do the same thing? Like, they didn't come out and make the statement, they put it through Sharrington. They used to hide behind Daniel Levy, and stuff like that. And quite frankly, I don't trust them. What's stopping them from lying again? We're hearing the same jargon of 3 to 4 windows, and it's something that we always hear: next window, next window, next window. For me, I'm just going to have to see what happens this summer, and hopefully, they start backing it up with actions. But I'm just not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, what I will say is that I don't think Joe Lewis has ever been interested in Tottenham Hotspur anyway. I think he's been at one match that I can remember. But he's obviously entrusted his siblings to sort of do the stuff. The other thing is that this transfer window, the January window was a complete disaster. And I totally agree with what you said earlier. Langer should be gone. He should be sacked, gone, because that was pathetic what happened in that transfer window. So if he goes tomorrow, great, I'll be dancing in the street. Vinny, maybe you could argue, well, he hasn't, had the chance to blah, blah, blah. Maybe you could argue that. I don't know. But I did read today that Vinny's position is safe, but not so much Langer. So maybe that might happen in the next few days. We got to think like, we can't say we're a big club unless we think like a big club. Yeah. And the other thing I will say is that this will be the first transfer window or summer transfer window without Daniel Levy. Because let's face it, he was involved in the last summer transfer window. And although we could argue that Eze was always going to go to Arsenal, we could have got Eze. We could have signed Eze. But that all fell through because of the usual shenanigans, blah, blah, blah. And the other thing I will say is that Bruno Fernandes, now whatever you think about him, Bruno Fernandes has just won the most assists in the Premier League. And I think he might have won one of the Premier League players of the season or something. He's won some award. This was a player that we had got to replace Ericsson back in 2019, or no, it might have been the January window 2020. It might have been, and we wouldn't go the extra $5 million to pay whatever Portuguese it was, and we didn't do it. We lost out, and in the summer he went to Man United, and the rest is history. So that was what I think Daniel Levy was all about. He had a massive ego. No, I want to get the best deal. And that is one, to me, that stands out as the biggest failure in our player, tradings and that sort of thing. The other thing they need to do in the summer window, in the summer window, we've got to play the asking price. All this, I won't swear, but all this sodding about, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. No, pay the asking price. We've got to pay the wages. Well, the suggestion is with Conor Gallagher, we are going to pay the wages now. Hopefully that, we'll do that. And the other thing is we got to sell these players, just sell them. We're not going to make a profit on a lot of these players. Just sell them. If the club comes in and interested, sell them. It's going to be difficult because they're on good wages, but, we can't hang around for the right price. Let's get it moving. Now, I'm hoping that will happen. I'm not holding my breath. I could be sitting here at the end of August chatting to you guys and saying, well, that was typical, And I think, it's 50-50. That will happen. Yeah. But at the moment, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to say, okay, it's a new, they're doing all this new stuff, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the medical team's another thing that they need to look at. And I think the Australian guy came up with a medical sort of team or a way of doing the medical system that was Premier League. Yeah, this is top stuff. And they didn't go with it. They said no, it's too expensive. So the rest is history, as they say. So
as
I say, it could be that we're talking about another rubbish transfer window. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that maybe things might start to change. and maybe we might start to move our way up the table. And who knows, have a good cup run next season, maybe pick up a trophy. At least we won't be in the playoff finals. I watched the playoff final on Saturday, thinking, "Well, it's going to be us next year."
Yeah. Can't go lower than 17th. That's only up from here.
Yeah. So it was a really horrible season. Loads and loads of mistakes were made. Hopefully, they now made the right one in De Zerbi. Hopefully, they'll make another right decision and get rid of Langer. I don't know much about this guy from Germany, but someone was saying that he was sacked for not being good. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, the other thing, the last thing I want to say is, and I'm not sure who mentioned this, they've got to get some, obviously they've got to get football people in the club, in at the top level, at the board level. We had Toby Alderweireld saying that he'd be happy to help. I'm sure players like Glenn Hoddle, I'm sure will be happy to help. They've got to get people like that involved in the club that know, because at the moment it looks like our board are, don't know. They know about business, but they don't know about football. And football is a different. It's not different to business, but it's a different sort of business. It's a different style of business, and they've got to get their heads around that. But yeah, I'm exhausted.
Well, Brad, it's been a long season. You go and enjoy, a week off. Look, we will be doing fan shows over the summer, so make sure you don't disappear. Make sure you pop in when.
I'll come on them every now and again. But at the moment, I just want to. Cheers, Dave.
You got a lot of love in the chat.
Davo says Brad was one of my favorite guests.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We also have this from Dermo. Says Brad is a gent, no negative, just proper football talk. Big up, Brad. And then also Van der Ross says Brad.
Cheers, Vandal. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, everyone in the chat. Look, have a great summer, everyone. You guys have a great summer. Cheers, Mac on the case, Mace on the case. Have a great summer. And I couldn't believe I look, your subs are up to 17,000. Wow, that's incredible. That's absolutely amazing. So congratulations on that. Appreciate and let's maybe get 20,000 next season. And I always talk to people, Tottenham fans at the office, and there are a few there. I always talk to them and say, IrishHotspur show, one of the top shows on there. Thanks, Tottenham. But yeah, have a great summer, everybody.
Thank you, Brad.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the heat if you can.
Thank you so much, man.
All right. Appreciate you. Hey, guys. See you later. Bye.
See you later,
Brad. Have a good night, Brad.
Bye-bye. Great call in there from Brad. Great to see him in there with a smile on his face, actually. It's been a long time since
it's been a while.
So that's nice. And good comments, by the way. Very nice of you guys there as well, showing your appreciation to Brad there as well. Let's keep it moving, though. We've got Dropkick. Your teacher says the Robbo deal is proof for Roberto De Zerbi isn't in control.
I agree.
Going to keep saying this. As long as they're signed on as a head coach, they're not going to be in control of the transfer policy or dictate who comes in and what we're going to stretch our budget to. They might present 3 or 4 players. If De Zerbi will go, I need this position, this position, this position, they'll present 3 or 4 players that are in their price range, and he has to pick from them if he's lucky.
Yeah,
that's the way this when your club is operating under a director of football, and I keep stressing this, people really need to go and really study the director of football model, and you'll understand it is not the players picking it's not the manager picking the players at this football club. If anyone wants to know why Mickey van der Ven is here, it's not Postecoglou, the guy that was under what's his name? Gabbanini. He's done interviews since leaving Tottenham, and he said, look, Tottenham weren't even going to sign him. I kept on putting his name to the front, That's why he's here. So people, it's an outdated thing that the managers are buying the players. They're not.
Yeah. And then Al Ben saying United finished 15th. They identified a very poor front line and went out and bought 3 top proven attackers. If we do not do the same, I will lose it. I think what's doubly frustrating, though, Al, is we kind of felt that way even last summer, though, right? Is we had won the Europa League final. We had finished in the Premier League in a similar position to United, right? I think they finished 15th or 16th, like you mentioned there. We had finished 17th. They had gone and done far more in the summer to try to right the wrongs of their last season than we did, who kind of got away with it a little bit by winning the Europa League, getting into the Champions League, getting the money and the revenue from the Champions League, potentially as well kind of wiping away some of the terrible moments from that Premier League season where they absolutely were not good enough. And I just find it insanity that even last summer, right, they didn't push the boat out to really try to right the wrongs from previous windows, but then also really look to back Ange Postecoglou. They didn't. In fact, Ruben Amorim, who they already had skepticism about, even by that point, gave him all the money in the world to try to change things. It's insanity, Alvin. I think it's stone cold obvious that they need to do it this summer, but it's amazing they didn't even do it in the summer under Ange, really, for me.
Well, first of all, they have to start identifying the right targets. It's not like they haven't thrown money at this forward line. They've thrown money at it. They just can't identify the right targets. Like you would argue, there's some good components to maybe keep and build around. Like your Madison, Kulusevski, if we can get him back fit. But again, you can't bank on that. So they're going to have to sign a player in his position. And hopefully he gets back and fit and starts challenging. Then you're looking at the likes of Kudus, who I would keep. I would definitely keep Mikey Moore around as a squad player, maybe Matisse Tal. But they certainly need to go out and buy a winger of a certain caliber and also another striker of a certain caliber that's guaranteed to go and hit you goals. Stop looking at a guy who's hit the numbers one season and go, we'll go and get him. He's gone to 60 million on the fucking guy. He scored 3 Premier League goals this season. It's absolutely embarrassing. So there's good components to build around, but the key ones is a world-class winger and a world-class striker like we had in Kane and Son. And until we do that, it's going to be a struggle to watch.
Yeah. Faz Radfar, simply few protests should continue. Sack. Langa. Yeah. I think Brad, even who was at the game, right, Faz, was more or less saying that the celebrations and everything at the end of the game were more or less out of few and sighs of relief and just the, like Dave said, the weight and the pressure finally being lifted from people wasn't really like. And even I think I heard from Alistair Gold saying that even the lap around the pitch was actually quite brief and not as long as you would have expected, he said, especially with the season. But I think that was because they knew that if they really milked it, it would have been a bad sign of like them acting as if, they're some heroes for surviving relegation and whatnot. So you kind of think about it, there's a lot of tone and maybe ways of mannerisms and things that they did have to go about it. Even like for the longest time, right? I think Thomas Frank refused to like mention the word relegation and stuff like that. So you could see that it was not a reality for this Spurs club at all for such a long time, for good or bad. Big up Faz. Breezy Gas, thanks for all the streams, lads, this season. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you, Breezy. Very, very kind.
Very kind of you. Appreciate that, my man. And thank you for all your support this season, by the way, as well, to you and Faz as well. Big up, guys.
And thanks to tuning into the fan shows and anybody who does. It's nice to a lot of the people who like to listen to what other people have to say, and a lot of people who are those who are in the chat or are those who are part of the community here. Really nice of you to listen along. Dave-O, big up Dave, saying big up boys, long time, no swing. Thank fuck it's all over. More importantly, didn't know you had a dog, Jack. I'm doing some dog sitting at the moment. Love dogs. Dog intro, please. Enough love, boys. They went downstairs because they were getting some medical treatment, but nothing too serious. But thank you so much, Dave-O. I'm dog sitting them. Maybe next time I'll give you a glimpse of their majesticism, their majesty. Big up to you, Dave-O. Really appreciate
the Good to
support.
See you, man.
And big up to Magic J, Magic Johnson. BPM is in the house as well. Yeah, this is Brad. Thanks for all the kind comments. Have a great summer, everyone. Big up, Brad. Yeah, don't leave it too long, though. Hopefully we get to talk to you soon, sometime soon. Big up to you, Brad. But yeah, let's get this moving. Thanks for all the support.
To make sure I have the right Dave-O, because there's a load of Dave-Os now around the place. Is this the one that rings into TalkSport all the time, giving out? No?
No, because it's British. Sterling.
Big up, Dave-O.
Big up, Dave-O. All right, let's get this moving. We got the one and only Eugene, Paul Brown, saying all joking aside with our current players. Yeah. We'll ask maybe someone like Eugene on that. Big up, Paul. Alrighty.
Big up John Tucker as well. Good to see you.
Legend. Bringing the Eugene needs no introduction, sir.
Hey boys.
How do you feel? You got a smile on your face, which is a good sign.
No, I'm just thinking after, Brad, who was positive, now it's me. So you might lose some of the audience.
Hey, you used to complain about going after Jerome, to be fair. So, you get to go after Brad now. Brad, who did a great job.
Now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just relieved. I'm glad the season is over. I'm relieved that I don't need to learn about, all these clubs in the championship, bust out a map of England and learn about, all these little towns and such. So I'm happy. Well, I wouldn't say I'm happy. I'm relieved.
Yeah. Even
But
Madison more or less said that. He did a great interview that was 8 or 9 minutes long, and he pretty much said that too. He said, "Yeah, no one's happy." He said, "If anything, it's a bit embarrassing." He said, "But we're all massively relieved." He said a lot of them felt like
actually, I'm
this.
not happy.
Yeah,
I'm relieved, but I was, you know what? I was really hoping when I'm going to go to bed last night, when I wake up, I'm going to see an announcement that Lang is gone. And for me, I was really hoping. I didn't expect it, but I was hoping that our ownership is going to learn their lesson, 2 17th place finishes in a row, and just do the right thing and act like a big club. As somebody mentioned in the super chat earlier, AC Milan, they sacked everybody. And Allegri and the other folks, they had way better track record than our board and Lange and Vinay, and they all got sacked. And I was really hoping that they learned their lesson and they would sack everybody. But all we got was some PR nonsense from Charrington, which makes no sense. And I still see that the Robertson is coming in when it's clear he's a club signing. Like, why are we acting like Burnley or like an MLS club? He's 32, who wasn't good enough to make the Liverpool team that had a pretty bad, defense. And now we won him. To me, that's embarrassing. I don't know. Like, I want to be optimistic. I'm tired of being negative. I really want to be optimistic, but it's just I need to see something. Again, I know it's only been a day or two, but I really want to see something to make me change my
Does the
opinion
letter,
on the
does
board.
the letter today not change
Oh,
your opinion? The admission to maybe failures in years gone by and stuff, and the plans that they have to put it right.
I don't read any of the PR stuff. That's why I don't listen to press conferences. I don't read because all that stuff is just noise. What shows me the real intent is the actions, right? Anybody can write some letter, like it's all nonsense. It's all PR. I want to see actions. And so far, obviously, again, it's been only a day or two, but so far it's, same old. So we'll see.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
mm.
yeah.
Does it
No,
worry? Does it worry you that maybe the Lewis family have used Sharrington to put it out and not really attached themselves personally to that letter? Does that maybe still show you that they're still hiding behind statements and other boardroom appointments? Maybe.
Yeah, I think they're cowards. Like they're not gonna say anything. They are not like what I'd like to see is them coming out with a statement and accepting responsibility for what's happening and say, okay, this is what went wrong and this is how we intend to fix it, right? If anybody has worked for a big company, when a CEO comes out, when it's been a bad quarter or a bad year, right? People want to see a plan. So I want to see a plan. I want to see a bullet point saying, okay, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. This is how we're going to fix things. Just having a puff piece PR statement from Charrington and signing players like Robertson, that doesn't do it for me. Um, I'm I want to see the outgoings and I want to see the incomings. But again, it what matters to me is the board and the director of football, right? Like if that doesn't change, if nothing changes there, I'm just afraid it's going to be more of the same. And more of the same, I don't mean 17th, right? Like I know this has been a perfect storm of injuries and like all that nonsense. So we're not going to be 17th again. But when I say same old, I mean us fighting for top seven, right? And
mm,
I'm just tired of it. I
yeah.
want to be optimistic. I want to be hopeful.
I think you're right to build off of the AC Milan point brought up earlier because by I think it was Chase, right? Yeah, Chase. Because the fact that they did that, firing the coach, the staff, everyone involved around the recruitment department so quickly after their season had come to an end, it's not unrealistic in your case to be like, well, surely I should be looking for a Johan Lange announcement in the next week, essentially. Like, what's the
Yeah.
difference really?
And Jack, that's a statement of intent. Like, there is no way where, the board or the ownership would wait until the very last day to make a decision to figure out whether Langer did a good job or not. It's been clear for a long time. So to me, whether we won or lost that game, the
Why do they
Everton
need to
game,
wait that long?
yeah, exactly. The decision should have been made. The fact that nothing happened, to me, it just, I have more questions than answers, right? The decision should have been made months and months ago, after the January window, after his statement that, we couldn't sign anybody, that, like, to me, that should have been done a long time ago. He should have been sacked months ago or weeks ago, and the statement should have come out this morning. And the fact that it hasn't, it means they're still undecisive, like they have no idea what to do. Nobody's in charge, and nobody knows how to fix things, right? Like, that's my concern. Who are the adults in the room? Who knows how to fix things? Who has a plan? And Charrington, again, the statement that he came out with, I don't see a plan. It's just, the bunch of stuff, that I could have done in ChatGPT. Like, I want to see a plan. Give me a name of the person and who's responsible for what. So what's going to happen is they're going to hire this guy from Dortmund. He's going to be a DOF, split duties with Lange, like we had with Lange and Don Fabio. We're not going to know who is responsible for what, who is going to bring who in. We're not going to know whether De Zerbi approved of the players who are coming in. And I'm afraid we might end up in the same mess. So just give me names, give me responsibilities, and give me the plan. That's what I want to see.
100%. I think the only thing that's different to any other statement I've really seen put out was, them admitting to past failures and that, the decisions wasn't always made to be successful on the pitch. And then also that mumbo jumbo about Spurs fans being built different. And we realised that we're built different because of how you've conditioned us to be with your failures at this football club. So we've had to learn to enjoy shit and character building stuff like that. Absolutely mumbo jumbo. Romero, I know he's one of your favourite topics, Eugene. Look, there was a lot of news around him this week. Don't get me wrong. We could have done without. We could have done without the distraction. I don't like that he flew back to Argentina. I'd rather him be around the place that week. And I'll admit, he's really let me down as a captain, of this football club this year and stuff like that. But he did turn up. He was there, and that's what people are most angry about, saying he should be there in and around the match day. Do you forgive him?
Dave, how I feel about him. I really wish that you wouldn't even bring it up, because I don't want to go on a rant again. Everybody knows my opinion.
Today that he put out did look a bit like a goodbye message.
I mean, the fact that he actually showed up, that's even a worse look for me. That makes him a double coward. If you made a decision, just go.
Can't
right?
Can't win.
Don't give it. No, but like, it just, him and his team, they gave in to the public pressure. And that's the only reason why he was back. To me, it's like, hey, just be
You don't believe
man.
what he
You
says?
decided-
Like, you don't believe everything you read?
Yeah, but like, in the beginning when the news came out, it was all over the news, right? On Sky, on TalkSport. There was nothing from Romero. There was nothing from his agent, right? The Argentinian
Why did there need
coach.
to be? Why did there
He
need
said,
to be?
well, but when it's such a big news about a club captain, like, somebody
Yeah, that's
would
true.
rubbish it right away. Again, for me, is whether it's a good look or a bad look, if you decided to go, just go. Don't give in to pressure. But again, all that stuff is noise. To me, you guys know how I feel about him. Like, last 5 games, when Danso is playing, and I told you before, right? Danso, we look, to me, much
Yeah.
more solid defensively.
Seems to play similar to Romero, but without the bookings.
Yeah, no, he's
Better in the air
always in
than both Van
position.
de Ven and him, too, I would say, in terms of
Danso,
offensively.
unlike Romero, Danso is always in position. He wins all the headers. Again, he might not be as good on the ball as Romero, but for me, all this new thing where a keeper is supposed to be good with his feet, no. First, you have to be a good shot stopper. A defender, for me, first, you have to defend, right? With Romero, and it's not even about the skills, or it's just is the personality. If you think that you're bigger than the club, if you're a club captain who's been late to trainings in the past, who has been taking days off to be fit for Argentina, not playing for us, who's gotten 2 red cards this season when we needed him on the pitch in the relegation battle, just go. We all know whether you defend him or not, Dave, you also know he doesn't want to be here. And for me, when Arteta came in, he got rid of Aubameyang and others, right? Ozil. Like, we need to rebuild. We need to get the players who don't want to be here out. The fact that
But
he
do you
took
not reason with him
an
on the
increase.
reasons why he doesn't want to be here, though, Eugene? Because there's similar reasons, like you would say about the board. Like, he doesn't trust them to fix the problems. You know, like a lot of his frustration has been aimed towards the board. He's always protected the fans. He's always gone after the board and said, this isn't right, that isn't right. That is also a part of a captain's job, to call that stuff out. And
I
do
agree.
you not share his maybe frustration on why he wants to get out? Because it was the same with Kane. Kane couldn't wait to get out. Modric, Bale, they all couldn't wait to get out.
I agree. However, a big difference if you look at Kane and Son and Romero, they were scoring goals. They did their job, right? Kane could have called out the board. Son could have called out the board with no issues for me or the fan base, because they did their job. Our issue is that people or players or front office execs, they do not do their job and they point at somebody else. If you look at Arsenal, they don't have good goal scorers, and they won 9 games by the score of 1-0. Why? Because Saliba and Gabriel, they took pride in defending, right? We could not score. Our front three is shocking. However, Romero as a captain and Van der Ven, they could have said, you know what? It's on us to win games. We're not going to give up goals. And we were shipping goals for fun. So yes, he might be right about the board and he was frustrated by the business. I understand. But do your job. You sign a new deal, 200K a week. You're made a captain. And then he was late to trainings. He was doing all that stuff. No, do your job. If you do your job, like Kane did his job, like Son did his job, then you can talk. What annoys me, the hypocrisy is him talking, him not doing what he has to on the pitch.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So I have no
Consistently,
issues
like
of
they did.
players. I have no issues of players going at
Can't be
ownership
confused when you want to be a
if they do
captain.
their job.
Yeah.
But
I think
he
Romero's
has not
case,
done his job in 2 seasons.
I think it's
So do what Gabriel did.
to your
Be
argument,
a
it's the
great defender.
consistency.
Yeah, just and then if we would be losing games 1-0, then I'm like, you know what? He did his job, and it's just the front three that are shocking, which we'll agree. But our defending was shocking as well, and that's our strongest unit. So he has no ground to stand on, in my opinion. And just all that other stuff is just too much. Like, again, give me Dan Sos, give me Dan Burns. I want old school defenders who love to defend, who are professionals, who are going to come in. They might not be as good, they might not be as skilled on the ball, but I want fight. I want grown men who want to fight for this club, who think that they're not bigger than the club, right? That's what I want to see. And then if we win or lose, that's secondary. But I just want to be proud of the players on the pitch. And this season, with all the drama, is just too much for me. I can't, right? So Romero, again, he might be a good player, he might be really skilled, but just not for us. He's great for Argentina, so go and play somewhere for a big club. And the funny thing is, no big club is gonna come in for him. I guarantee it. Last season, Atleti only came in, and I don't count them as a huge club because, right, they're not Barca or Madrid. And watch this season, no big club that's challenging for trophies is gonna come in for him because everybody can see what he's all about. So, I'm done. If I see him or Richarlison next season, or Muani next season, like, I'm gonna be fuming. Like, I'm not sure if you're gonna see me on the stream again, Dave. Like, I might just take a season off because that's gonna be too much for me.
Well, no, look, I agree with you. I think there definitely needs to be a lot of change. And I know you would say you need to take a season off, but look, you're diehard like the rest of us. I know you'll still be around watching every game. You know you will. We all will. You know,
I know.
we all get angry and all. But like, I do agree with you. If we don't sort out the strikers and we don't bring in a striker of a certain quality, we're in for the same season next season. You know, same with a world-class winger. Maybe another midfielder to back up a Bentancur, Paulini, and a Gallagher. You know, look, when it comes to Romero, I'll admit, I do think having Danzo there softens the blow. You know, if you would have said it to me before Danzo, I'm like, but I don't trust the club to go and get anybody else in. You know, but whereas with Danzo, it does sort of soften the blow for me to a large degree. And like, I think what J-Mac says here, not defending Romero by no means, but if he is at a club serious about winning, he wouldn't act up as much. And I think 100%. I think,
And
you know, I think 100%. But to Eugene's point, you can't have a guy that thinks he's bigger than the club either.
I agree with that statement. But like I said, when you're a captain, that's not an excuse, right? A captain, if you look at Roy Keane, right, just at the great captains, they're tone setters. They're the ones who are responsible for the culture in the dressing room. She's not playing with Messi anymore. If you're the captain, if you took all that money and armband, you cannot defer to anybody else. You are the one who's responsible for the culture in the dressing room. So that's an excuse to me, right? He's not a squad player. He's not Archie Gray. He's a senior player, a World Cup winner. So lead by example, and then you can talk to the board. But do your job. And I honestly feel if our executive do their job, if players do their job, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
100%.
and
Speaking of
before
maybe a
I go-
future captain, you're speaking about leaders. What about João Paulinho? Would he be one that you would re-sign? I think we've got a buy option of 30 million euros. Is he one you would take in? Because I know De Zerbi mentioned he would like him, and I think he sort of spoke about him maybe as a captain, maybe in future.
I mean, in a minute, like, it says a lot when a player who's on loan is showing the most passion and is scoring the biggest goals for us. And he's a lone player who's not even sure if he's gonna come back or not. Paulinho, whether, again, I'm not sure if he fits De Zerbi's style, but just given his leadership, his personality, I would sign him in a minute. And I want to make a couple of public apologies because, again, I'm trying not to be biased, right? Paulinho and Bentancur are two players. When I saw them under Frank, and you know, Dave, like, I was on the stream just going at Bentancur and Paulinho, and to me, I can tell that what I was seeing, it wasn't necessarily them, it was the way Frank wanted them to play. Bentancur is a completely different player right now than before. So my apologies to them and De Zerbi as well. I didn't want De Zerbi, just I thought he was too volatile, but now he's the only reason why we're up. So those three, big up to them.
You and De Zerbi actually look very similar, you know.
What's that?
You and De Zerbi look sort of similar, you know.
Hey, you know, I wish. You know,
there.
Hey, I wish. Yeah. No, but
Yeah, go on.
Go on, Jack.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, did anyone catch? It's a small detail, but did anyone catch the little scrap that Vicario and got with Seamus Coleman and everything? I think it was more or less started by De Zerbi though, because he was kind of chatting something to the opposition bench,
I think he was
and
telling
then
them to like calm down or shut up or be
and then like even David Moyes had to like tell De Zerbi to calm down, and then it like escalated from that afterwards.
Yeah.
I found that pretty.
I mean, Vicario has got some nerve too, celebrating and talking to Coleman. Like, dude, Coleman is a prem, like, not a legend, but he is established. Like, Vicario, just, and him like jumping on De Zerbi's back, just go back, just hide from everybody and just go to Italy where you belong. Like, I don't want to see Vicario either. Like, Vicario, just don't be seen. You know, some of these players, I can't look at them anymore. Vicario, Richarlison, Mero, like a few more, just leave and let's have a proper rebuild. And also, kind of, I'm changing my mind a bit on Kinski. Like, the biggest thing for me is after that debacle against Atleti, where we thought he's mentally done, it takes a mentally tough individual to bounce back from a national embarrassment and have 4 or 5 good games. So for me, that means that he has something about him. Again, whether he's good enough to be our first, our number one keeper, I'm not sure. However, at this point in my mind, keeper is now not the number one issue. Maybe it's number 4, number 5.
Yeah.
So if he is our number one keeper beginning of next season, I might not be ecstatic, but I'll be okay with it because we
Yeah.
have much more pressing issues. So a big up
I agree.
to Kinski as well.
Do you know what? Fair play to you, lad. I know, and look, you've been consistent on Romero, but you're also not afraid to say, do you know what? This guy's changed my opinion. Look, all credit to Kinski. I think me and Jack were in the same boat as you, but, you've got to acknowledge the fact that he's bounced back from a worldwide embarrassment. It takes some serious character. Like I said, a lot of people would just hide behind their door, close the curtain, sit in dark rooms for months and never, ever recover or come back from that. Now, I think he's definitely earned his spot to be around here next year.
Yep.
But if I'm Tottenham Hotspur, I would sign an experienced goalkeeper just in case. But Eugene, good
Thank
to
you,
see
sir.
you, my man.
Hey boys,
Hopefully see you
good to
plenty
be
over
on.
the summer with a lot of the changes that are hopefully going to be afoot, my man.
Thanks, boys, as always. Like I said, I love you guys. Thankfully, the season is over.
Oh, thank God, Eugene.
Let's hope that we'll see something to be optimistic about for the next season.
Yeah.
Like I really hope that this board, this ownership learned their lesson and they give us fans something to be optimistic about for the future.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of being negative. I'm tired of, but I call it like I see it. I'm not just being negative, like this is the last thing I want to do. So I just really want to see some positive signs. Just give me something.
Yeah.
100%. But look, one thing I'll say to you just before we let you go, it's never negative. It's like some people can perceive it as that or it's pessimistic. It's just facing up to the reality of what's going on. It's not glossing over it, going, oh, everything will be all right eventually. So don't ever think that. It's been a pleasure having you around all this season, my man. And we'll speak to you more over the summer.
Thank you, Eugene. Appreciate you.
You got Eugene.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night,
By
man.
the way, everyone owes Eugene an apology on Thomas Frank. He's absolutely
Oh,
great. In fact,
hey,
you
me
should
and
be thanking him. And when Jerome comes on, thank them for putting the pressure to get Thomas Frank sacked.
Maybe I
Love it.
should be the DOF. Me and Jerome, we should be the co-DOFs for half the salary. I'll take a discount, and I'm sure I can go on Y Scout and do what Lange is doing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Big up, Eugene.
All right, boys. Thanks.
See you,
Have a
man.
good day, my man. See you later. But guys, seriously, though, I'm not messing. People like that they cop onto it early, and you should be going, do you know what? Thank you for putting the pressure on. Because when everyone was telling them, just leave it, we would have sleepwalked into relegation. So big up, Eugene, on that. We've got a couple of comments to get to, and then we are going to crack on. We've got Fans Radfire here, says you are my favorite channel because you respect all views. I really do appreciate that. Look, I'm one of them. As long as you're not a wanker, and that, no problem. I don't care what your opinion is. Come on, let's have a discussion. No problem whatsoever. That's the way I operate. Big up, Faz.
I think we have passionate views. Don't get me wrong, Faz. Like we definitely have strong opinions on almost everything. But yeah, it's not like we try to like bully someone's opinion or anything like that. But we will definitely have debates. But I mean, to be fair, we do have. I mean, when you do think about it, we have definitely a large range of people, especially when it comes to even someone like Romero. We have Romero's biggest haters to Romero's biggest lovers, all on the same channel. Really,
yeah.
Big up, Faz.
Big up, Faz. I really appreciate all your support throughout the whole season, my man. It really doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you very much, Faz.
Swim Master saying,
Big up, Swim Master.
This is summer window officially begin. I think technically July 1st. And
Yeah,
then
July 1st.
Thank you, Dave and Jack, for giving us an outlet to let it out. Better out than in. No good bottling things up as Spurs fan. Definitely not. Definitely not, Swim Master. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, sir.
Big up, Swim Master.
Technically,
First
this is where...
But we can still sign players now and get deals done.
Yeah, you can sign players for free. You can start to get some deals over the line, more or less, ahead of time.
You can agree deals, they can't come to your club until the 1st.
I do think maybe in the next month, I agree with you, Gene. We should be looking for some type of Johan Lange announcement and some sort of new director to come in. And then probably in some ideal world, maybe some type of other appointments, whether they're behind the scenes with De Zerbi coaching staff or things like that or another. expect a ton of signings in the next month. Might be a little bit
Yeah.
tough. I mean, we already made 2 by the looks of things, whether you even like them or not. Alan, big ups to love to you guys. Watch the shows while at work and listen and watch along
Appreciate
during
that.
games. Thank you, Alan.
Big
Thank
up,
you so
Al.
much.
Shout out to Al.
Hopefully you're having a good start to the summer as well, Alan. Q7 saying evening all. Anyone else have an incredible sleep last night?
Yep.
Yeah, they're probably
Slept like a
stinking, too.
baby.
Yeah. No weight on the shoulders anymore. Al Ben still reserved on Kinski, made a couple of saves, but he hasn't been put under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Paul Van been saying Kinski deserves his chance. He showed a
Big up,
huge
Paul.
character. Big up to you, Paul. Big up to Tom as well, who's in the house. What
Big
a
up,
relief,
Tommy.
Tom, indeed. What a relief. And then Al Ben saying, I did decide I would watch Zero Football next season if we got relegated. Just glad I'll still be seeing you lads and my favorite channel on YouTube. Listen,
Oh, man.
this season has been torturous in terms of having to watch football because the current champions, probably the worst champions I've ever seen in my lifetime, really, like absolutely torrid football every single match. I remember even people sometimes joking like, oh my God, how did Arsenal win this game? They've been absolutely terrible. And then you're like, wow, first time watching them this season. Like it's just a slog to watch them. It's been a slog to watch us. It's not really been a great season of football, really, to be honest, Al. So if you want to take a break from it, I wouldn't blame you. But in typical Spurs fashion, we keep you hooked in and looking forward to having you back next season with us. Thank you, Al.
Honestly, I'm one of them, Al. When Tottenham lose, I struggle to watch any football that weekend. So I've watched not much outside of Tottenham this year. It's bar maybe some Champions League games and stuff like that. And, when City were in the title running, cheering them on. But apart from that, it's been a hard watch. But really appreciate Al Ben, and I'm glad that we're still one of your favorite channels, my man. Big up, Al.
Sean Maddox, member for 33 months. Big up, Shawnee, as an elite member, too. Thank you, Shawnee. Saying the fact that Langa hasn't even resigned tells you enough about him. If he had a proper character, he would apologize and quit.
See, these people, they don't care. This is where
The cushy
they don't
place
care
to
about
be.
the quality of the job they do. While he's getting big bucks, why is he going to walk away from that? He's not.
He already left the Villa job. He already got pushed away from that. Why would he leave this one, to be fair?
But the thing is, you should have been handed his P45 and gone to Disneyland with Thomas Frank and his family,
Yeah.
while the season was still going on. It's embarrassing that he's still here anyway. And also, big up DJ AK, big up, lads. My word, what a season. Glad it's over. Anyone who hasn't got a membership, get one. These guys are worth every penny through
Thank you,
the
DJ.
good and bad. Come on, you Spurs. Well, really appreciate that, DJ AK. Come on,
Thank
you
you,
Spurs.
Anthony.
Staying
you,
in the
Anthony.
Premier League. Back where everyone hates us. And my God, I'm going to absolutely relish that next year under De Zerbi, because
Love
I
it.
can tell he secretly gets a hard on with that as well. Big up DJ AK. But look, let's keep it moving. Who have we got next?
Rhino and then Jerome.
Let's see if Rhino's mic has been sorted. Rhino.
Hey there, Ryan.
Yo,
That's
sounded
sorted.
good.
You don't have a smile on your face. You're not happy we're still remaining in the Premier League.
Look, a little smirk there.
I don't care at that point when it comes to this. And the reason why I don't care is because we've still got the same owners. Now, unless they prove me wrong, that they won't, because I gave them one chance last summer and they didn't prove me wrong then, and they're not going to prove me wrong again this year. So why should I care when we'll probably be in the same situation as we was this season?
How did you respond to the statement? Did it make you more angry at the ownership, or were you maybe relieved that maybe it seems like they've got a plan?
I was kind of actually absolutely hacked off more than anything, because
I thought you would be.
we knew that they were lying to us, and it just confirmed it. Literally.
Make you, yeah. But did you not call for Daniel Levy back at one stage this season?
Yeah, and I'd still have him back, right? But the only reason why I'd have him back is because it wasn't his fault. It was the board's fault.
Well, they've just admitted that his decisions weren't based on football and success right now.
Yeah, but right, at least Daniel Levy, yeah, right, did give a damn about the team up to a point. Whereas Joe Lewis doesn't give a damn. He's out on his box.
Years of Fink Sanchez and
Daniel Levy would have sacked your boy Thomas Frank 2 months earlier.
Mm. By the way, how much responsibility does Thomas Frank have to take for what's gone on this season and the relegation battle we found ourselves in?
There's a slice of the pie all over the place that has to be taken.
Few slices though, right? Maybe 3, 4.
No, there's a load
Eight
of slices.
Eight slices in the pie.
Until he's full.
There's a load of slices that need to be given.
Yeah. So how many are you putting on his plate? About 4 or 5?
I'm putting the same amount on everybody's plate.
No, you can't be doing that.
Oh yeah, I can. And I
You think
will.
everyone bears the same amount of responsibility?
Yes.
So why are you so upset with the ownership then, more than others, if it's all the same?
Because look at it, yeah, right, Jack. They never spent a penny, yeah, right.
But if they all deserve equal blame, then why do you call out them more than anybody else? Shouldn't you then be calling out Frank, the players, the directors of football, the tea lady? I
don't like Lange. Want him gone? I wanted him gone yesterday, to be honest. Let's get that one straight. I wanted Lange gone yesterday. Vinay, I don't even want at this club either. He's an absolute mug.
Where are you at with De Zerbi?
Still on the fence until this board go. I don't have an opinion.
You can have it on De Zerbi.
Not even a thank you to De Zerbi. He's kept us up.
But the reason why I asked,
but then that's not having an opinion, though, is it? Thank you for keeping us up, but I'm not going to be celebrating that we've stayed up because I didn't do that yesterday. I was just literally like, okay, cool, we've stayed up. Now let's get players through the door.
The reason why you can have an opinion on De Zerbi is because he had the same squad Frank and Tudor had to deal with, and look what he got out of it compared to them.
But I'm not having an opinion on De Zerbi until this board are gone. Because at the end of the day, right, it's just another name over the top of the...
They're not going anywhere. They stated that today. They're not going anywhere.
Then I can't have an opinion on any other manager then. Simple, until they go. Because at the end of the day, right, Dave, and I'll keep saying this, right, it's just a name over the door.
I do get what you're saying, right, in terms of that 9 times out of 10, they all end up in failure because of stuff that the board don't do for them in terms of quality players.
Yeah.
But under this ownership, the quality of the quality of manager matters even more. Under this ownership, because of they're always going to have one hand tied behind their back doing this job. So the quality matters even more then, no?
Yeah, of course. But I'm not, like I said, right, when it comes down to it, whether I think De Zerbi's good, bad, whatever, right, I'm not going to have an opinion on it because he'll be gone probably within 2 years.
With De Zerbi in charge next season, do you think we'll finish 17th again?
Now you're making me want to have an opinion, and I'm not going to have an opinion on it, Dave.
There's no, you're not going to get in trouble.
You're here
man.
to have an opinion.
You're not going to get in trouble.
You're not
even an opinion. This is just a guess. Not even an opinion. It's a guess.
All right, then if you want me to guess,
you're here.
It's a guess. Legally, as your lawyer, Ryan, it's not an opinion. Give us a guess. Where are we finishing next season under Zerbi?
Okay,
same
so
squad.
guess,
Same squad.
right?
No summer signings. Same squad. Where are we finishing?
Same squad. Well, as it stands from
right
yesterday,
now.
Yeah.
And De Zerbi's here all season. Doesn't get sacked.
Okay. Then my guess would be mid-table next year.
Where in mid-table?
Maybe 11th.
Okay. Fair. That's fair.
So De Zerbi is a half decent manager.
But that's just a guess. That's not me having an opinion on De Zerbi in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would
you have an opinion if they brought back Thomas Frank?
No.
Would you give the board another chance if they brought back Thomas Frank, your favorite, your savior?
No.
What if they made Conor Gallagher manager?
No.
DJ AK does say the board was the same when we hired Frank, but you had an opinion then.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like if we brought back Thomas Frank, would he all of a sudden give them another chance?
No, I wouldn't. I learned my lesson, yeah, right? Not to have an opinion after Frank. So that's why I don't have an opinion on any manager anymore. I'm done having an opinion on managers. What I will say is, though,
Wait, is the reason you don't want to have an opinion is because people and Brian, this is what I don't get though. There were a lot of Spurs fans who were riding the Thomas Frank train, and that's totally acceptable. That's totally fine. There were a lot of people who were absolutely dying for Thomas Frank, acting as if he was the Messiah. There's nothing wrong with that. They ended up being wrong. Doesn't mean you're not allowed an opinion ever
and I'll
again.
put my hands up. I was one that was on that.
I know,
that
but it
train
doesn't
right
mean you're
until
not.
the end.
Doesn't mean you don't need to have an opinion ever again. That's not like you're out of opinions. Like you're allowed to have an opinion about the next thing that happens with the club.
Well, first of all, we need to clarify whether it was a train or a junk they were on. I'm not quite sure, but
It was a.
Yeah.
It was a,
No, but I get that, right?
it was a dumpster truck.
I refuse to have any sort of an opinion on any manager until this ball goes, because nothing's going to change, and that's the reason why from now on I don't have an opinion on any manager until this ball changes.
I'm going to defend you here. That is an opinion. I'm not going to have an opinion on a manager until the board's changed. That is an opinion. But let's move on to one of your favourite subjects, Conor Gallagher. Do you think he survives the cut on the 11, 12 players that De Zerbi wants to work with, or do you think he's one of the ones out the door?
Actually, I wanted to talk about this, actually, and this is going to you're probably right. I'm actually going to I'm probably going to actually annoy a lot of people on this, right? Because if you remember, right, Dave, I said, right, I said I would get rid of the whole squad apart from Conor Gallagher, Xavi Simons, Maddison, and Polina, right? And then I turned on Sky Sports News today, yeah, right, and saw what Tim Sherwood said, that he wanted Conor Gallagher gone because he's not good enough. Excuse me, did anyone not see what he was like at Chelsea? He was captain of Chelsea, and people were saying he ain't good enough. Oh, come on.
Go on.
All right.
Tim Sherwood. Been real quiet.
Seriously, though, Jack, do you think Gallagher survives the cut?
I mean, surely he's probably one of De Zerbi's favorite players right now.
He better survive the cut. He better, because otherwise I am going to lose my absolute marbles. And no, Gallagher is not shit. He is good. That's why he was Chelsea captain. Hello?
Do you think we're set to see even better than him next year? Because let's be honest, he did spend the first while at Tottenham way underperforming. Now you could give him the Thomas Frank Tudor excuse, but when De Zerbi came in, he got him going and he put in some really good shifts for us. Like yesterday.
But do you remember what I said to you, Dave? Do you remember what I said to you a couple of weeks ago about Conor Gallagher when he scored at Aston Villa?
Yeah.
Right? So then, why would I think he should be cut from the squad? And do I think he's going to improve? Definitely. Because what I told you was going to happen next year with Conor Gallagher, doesn't that tell you he's going to improve even more?
Well, I would hope so. The Aston Villa game was a standout performance. I think yesterday he was brilliant in midfield, getting around, making tackles and stuff like that, So, look, I hope that's set to sort of continue next season. It'd be interesting to see what De Zerbi makes of him. And, when Xavi Simons is back fit, Maddison is back fit, does he play that number 10? Does he then become cover or challenge Bentancur and Paulinho for their positions? It'd be interesting to see what's in store for Conor Gallagher next year, but I definitely think he's probably done enough so far to maybe stick around. And plus, 200k a week wages, we're going to find it very difficult to offload him if De Zerbi wants to. Jack, any other questions for Rhino?
No, I think we've definitely given him enough. Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I mean, I've got I just what I don't like, right, and I hate things like this, right, especially when it comes down to what Tim Sherwood said earlier. It absolutely infuriated me. Do you know what? I was about to literally punch my TV when I saw it. Can't
be talking about your boy Gallagher.
You can't be talking about my boy Gallagher because that he's going to get cut.
Gallagher like that.
Are you going to grow your hair like this?
Say that again, Dave.
Are you going to grow your hair like his?
No. I would, but I'm losing my hair, Dave. I'm going
Yeah,
bald,
leave it
mate.
to the professionals.
I'll
Like
leave it
Gallagher.
down to my boy to have whatever
Yeah.
haircut. Do you know what? If he
Your
wants
boy.
to shave it all off and be like me, fine. I'll take
Yeah.
that as well. Do you know what? That would be absolutely brilliant. But do you know what? I actually think if we do keep someone like Gallagher and Polinia, right? Because I love Polinia. And I think if we can keep Polinia and keep Polinia for put him in full time next year, I would actually like to think that we could actually probably go far in the FA Cup and hopefully win it.
I agree. I think next season with no Europe, a couple of you address the forward line massively. You're sprinkling in a couple of other good signings in other positions. I don't understand why we can't do what United have done in the league and go after one of the clubs. I do believe in De Zerbi. Like De Zerbi ain't here to stabilize next season. He wants to go after things next season. But hopefully he has a good preseason and shows us what's to come. But right now, thank you for your time this evening. It's always been a pleasure, my man. Thank you for sticking around with us.
I don't want Kinski here either next year.
No?
No.
Well, that's some really good saves. You'd argue we would have got relegated without him.
What he done over 5 games, congratulations. But when I want a better goalkeeper. I'd rather take someone who's like Roofs or whatever his name is from Sunderland, their goalkeeper. Love him.
Oh, the
Get Savinho in.
Yeah.
Get Savinho in. Get. I'll even put this in. I'm putting my head on the line here. Get Grealish in. And I know people are going to say, Grealish is too much this. I don't care. He's got the experience. You don't need to judge him what he does outside of football. Whatever he does outside of football is none of our business.
That's for sure.
Say that again, Davo?
He can take me on his nights out. That's for sure. I'd say they're fun.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. I just want experienced players or players that have done something like a Savinho, like a Grealish and a Roofs, and let's just hope we can actually get some of those players in, because I don't care what they do outside of their in their free time. Whatever they do in their free time is none of our business. But whatever they do out there on that field, as long as they're performing on the pitch, I don't care what they do in their free time. So give me Grealish, give me Salvinio, give me Roofs, get rid of Romero, get rid of everybody else. And
all these opinions flying out here right now. Where were they at the start?
I'm just I'm just saying, like, that's different. If you had asked me them questions at the beginning, Dave, I would have given you an opinion on them. It's just on the manager front. I will be sitting on that fence until the ball has gone, mate.
I do apologise. I should have been more tuned in. I should have known you weren't going to answer a question on De Zerbi. But right now, we do got to keep it moving, my man. It's been a whirlwind as always. And look, you know what you do? Yeah. You put a smile on.
And I think I'll surprise Jack again as well.
Full of surprises. Big up,
have
Ryan.
a good evening, Rhino.
Much
Thanks,
love,
man.
guys.
See you later. Have a good one.
See you later.
I do love a bit of Ryan, to be fair. He does bring a bit of joy to my Monday evenings. Big up Rhino. Never change, buddy. But look, let's keep it moving. The next one in, he's been very patient in the back end. Big smile on his face. Good evening, Jerome. How are you, sir?
Good evening, lads. Oh, definitely. Always put me off the Rhino, and just always put me off the Rhino, because he does bring a smile to my face, man. Seriously, even all as doom and gloom as I was before, he made me smile. So yeah, big up Rhino, man, big up. But yeah, he did make a very good point. Yeah, the shout for Jack Grealish, I'll go with that. That's a good shout too. It's like, yeah, that's a very good shout, Rhino. I'll take that.
Well enough for everything, I suppose. And Jack Grealish is a good player. It's just
my concern. Yeah, he's just got really unlucky with the injury, but he did really well for Everton. He was doing really good for Everton. So he shout for Jack Grealish, yeah, on the left wing. That's a good shout.
Anyway, we're safe.
Yeah,
it's been a long season. You've been angry.
Yeah.
You've been angry. We shared many conversations. We finally got over the line. We retained our Premier League survival. How are you feeling?
Oh, relief. I'm just relieved. Yeah, I'm literally just relieved. But to be honest, I with De Zerbi on board, I knew we were going to change things in like we were going to change our luck around, and the guy was absolutely it was good. And all credit to him. All credit goes to him and him only because the way he came in and did not, like I said, he did not make anything like complicated. Did not do anything like major things like change the tactics or whatever. Kept the thing simple. Just make the team believe again and told them, play your football, go for it. And look what happens. We're safe after we did not know where we're going to win our next game. And look at that. 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that any time of the day. So that's okay, man. Considering all the injuries that happened. So he did an amazing job. So yeah, thank you, De Zerbi. Thank you for keeping us up because all credit goes to him as well. So yeah, well done.
And look, I think he's the one that deserves credit. To be quite honest with you, he's before that, no one had a plan to get us out of here. He showed us the way. Like Moses parted the Red Sea. Follow me, beautiful, love it from De Zerbi.
Yeah, and I really like the way when he came into the after the game into the presser room, he was looking for that guys. Like you didn't believe, You didn't believe. Where are you? That was good. I was like, my manager, man, my manager. Here you go. Somebody who's got fire is not gonna get any crap on the press or anything. And he just went at this guy. Even after the presser, he just went at him like, you didn't believe me, huh? You didn't believe me. It was like, yeah, that's my manager, man. That's awesome.
But you know what? I think really Derby and Tottenham are sort of a match made if the board do want to get it right. Is like I do feel like De Zerbi needs that journalist, that someone that goes, it can't be done, and he's like, right, I'm going to prove you wrong. I do believe he needs that, and he's going to constantly get that at Tottenham.
Yeah, he will. He will constantly get those things, and I think that's what's driving, proving people wrong, proving everybody wrong, like all the negative comments, all the negative presses that all comes to him and tell him, there's no hope, whatever. He just like, I'm going to prove you all wrong. That's what makes him. That's what drives him. And that's what made him to get this team, drive this team as well, to all of those negative comments and just tell them, we're going to prove them wrong. I'm going to show you all we can survive. And we did survive. So, which is a good thing. So now my only thing is my question is, what's next? What do we do next after this? Yes, we survive. Yes, I'm relieved. But the question is, what's next? We're going to have De Zerbi. We're going to play beautiful football. We're going to go top 6. We're going to be back in Europe maybe, or something like that, or top 8, get back in Europe. But is that all we want now? Is that all what we want? Because from my perspective is after winning a European trophy, I really thought to myself, this club is going to kick on. And what they did to me is they just went a full 360.
Yeah.
And they literally just went, no, we're not doing this anymore. No. And the pretext was we need to compete on all front. So how is that competing on all front when now we were facing relegation? And we finishing 17th, a second season, back-to-back season, finishing 17th, and that's competing on all front. So what's next? What's next for this club? Where do we see things? And big up to Gary Neville as well, because on Sky Sports, he had a real go at this club, a real go at everything that they've done, called out all the nonsense, all together, the signs of all together and everything like that. He called that out, which is very good. I was very happy to see what he said about this. And I was like, yep, that's good. And that's why, like I said, some people, I'm not going to say real fans, but people that do care about this club brought their banners to make sure that people see it. And it was seen. So big up to them. Well done to all of us that brought their banners and said, we're not going to have this. And it was seen. It was seen. Gary Neville saw it, talked about it on Sky Sport, which is very good. So fantastic. Great job, boys.
Just quickly, we'll take this from Paul Plumman. He says, thank you for all you do, Dave and Jack. Look, again, appreciate you for all your support all season long, my man. Big up, Paul. Really appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. But Jerome, I mean, you would argue that maybe that sports statement was maybe I think they realise, you know, the fact that Gary Neville has called it out. You heard Madison mention it. You know, you've heard Romero in his statement sort of mention similar. You know, everyone's sort of been pushing it all back up towards the top, and they've come out in reaction of that today with a statement. Did you get a chance to read it?
The statement is more like a dig to Daniel Levy. The whole statement, I think, is a whole dig to Daniel Levy, and everything is like, they do agree that the whole thing was not on footballing success and everything. It's just a dig at Daniel Levy. They're not taking on it's not a proper responsibility. It's the same thing that Vinay did, not taking on the responsibility on themselves and said, look, this season is a disaster. It's solely on us. It's solely on all the decisions that we've done, the wrong appointment. But during the wrong appointment, we had Daniel Levy in charge during that time. So it was pretty much like, to me, I think like it's more like a dig as what they're doing and saying, don't put the blame on us, but we need to open your eyes. It was Daniel Levy's fault because all the things that happened this summer, he was there. All the debacle, he was there. So that's why we had to make the change and things like that. And to all I can see from there is nothing more than a PR thing, just to save themselves from all the embarrassment and everything. And Vinay Venkatesham, this guy, I'm trying my best not to get angry and swear and everything, right? But this guy's an absolute disgrace. For you to sit in that stadium with your sunglasses on, smiling like an absolute buffoon, just sitting there and smiling while this club is on fire, literally.
It really got to me that.
17th finishing, and you're sitting there smiling with your sunglasses on, like as if, job done. We did amazing today. We should celebrate and go and have like go to a nice restaurant, go out to a nice villa and go and have like some wine or something. You absolute buffoon. To just be seeing you with your sunglasses on, sitting there, you should be sacked for that. You should be sacked for this, just for this. Because as a CEO, you have failed. You have failed. And the guy behind you, why was he there? He should have been like, not even been there. Should have been saying, after this, you're gone. You're gone. Absolutely gone. Langer should be gone. He has to be. Absolute failures, both of them. And just to be sitting there, at least on Langer's face, I could see like the whole disappointment. Like his face was just like, he knew his day's done. So it's for him. That's what happened. But with Vinay, and man, I cannot believe, like, we had this terrible season, and you're sitting there and smiling. You're smiling because the lot down the road won the league. That's probably why. Absolute buffoon, man. Absolute buffoon. I cannot stand this guy. I cannot believe we're gonna have him as a CEO of this club next season. Absolute buffoon. But to move forward with them is change the way. Change the way you're doing things. Change the way. Change the way every single thing. It's like every single thing we're gonna do, we need to change every single thing. Like, I don't care what it is, but they need to go. And this is where Rhino thing about what I was going to say, Rhino. This is where the prize money is important now. We finished 17th again. No cups, no trophies. So the prize money now has now been important now because we get the lowest part of this prize money for the league now. So that means now our spending needs to be accurate. Like, we need to be very shrewd on who we buy. We can't go and spend money because we don't have it. So this is where now I'm going to go. We need to go probably down the championship, go and find some quality players that want to come in the Premier League and go and say, I'm going to destroy this by showing how talented I am. And this is where we should be going and finding players that do want to play. Not mercenaries, but players that do want to play for this club and do want to come and make a difference. So this is what we need. But having Johan Langer, and now we're going to have Sebastian Kell coming from Germany, kicked out by Dortmund, and if you have this guy coming here, Jesus Christ, man, where's the hope? Where's the hope for this club? I don't even know where I'm going to go and say, where's the hope for this club? But again,
The hope is De Zerbi, isn't it? The hope is De Zerbi, right? That at least with him,
Hope is
we're
De
not going to
Zerbi.
be in this position again. At least simply down to him. Simply.
Yeah, the
down
hope
to him.
is De Zerbi, but the thing is, Jack, we need to give him the proper tool, Jack. Because to me, you give De Zerbi the proper tool, he can make things happen, right? But if you are going to give him kids, washed out players, what is he going to do? He's not a miracle worker, right? He did great for this depleted team. He did an amazing job. But at the end of the day, even him will get frustrated. Even him will be like, I can't deal with this. You're not giving me the things that I need. You're not giving me the players for me to compete. I want to win trophies. These are these things. This guy is not going to be sitting here just to be happy with top 4, top 6, top 8, or whatever, just get Europe. He's not going to just be happy with this. This guy want to win things. He wants to win.
Because they wouldn't change their recruitment model to help him kick on in the Premier League. And I think, like, to that point, I think De Zerbi coming in would have accepted. He's got what he's got this year. There's no transfer window. He has to make the best of it. But he will want massive changes to this squad. He will. Yeah. Because he will want to go and compete.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. He just wants to compete and win. That's his whole thing.
But I do take Jack's point, though, Jerome, that, like, even if you were to give him mediocre players, I do think he would. I don't think we'd find ourselves in a similar situation. I do think, he is that quality that he will, extract the maximum out of them and maybe overcompete with them. But again, that's not what we want for our football club anymore. You know what I mean? That's not what this table was built from.
No, we can't. We cannot just go, here's that player, improve them, and just let's see what happens. No, we cannot have this anymore because this is getting to a point where this is ridiculous. And to be honest, look at Richarlison, right? Richarlison, as much as you want, there's no improvement in Richarlison. Yesterday, he was anonymous, man. Absolutely anonymous. Could not even see him do anything yesterday. He was completely anonymous. So players like this, you can't, as much as you're good of a good coach, you can't improve those kind of players, man. You cannot. So we need players that can go, we can play in your system, we can come, and players that can make a difference. This is what we need. And let's just see what happens. And we do listen to him because he said he already has a plan. He knows what kind of team he wants. Please listen to him. Just please listen to him and go and get the players that he needs because this is going to be another dumpster fire if things doesn't go well with him because we are going to go and crash and burn. If things doesn't go well with De Zerbi, that means we're crashing and burning. Yeah. But let's just hope things are going to work out for him. But anything's going to change.
Do you know what? I'm interested to see, when the loanees come back, if there's any that De Zerbi looks at and go, do you know what? You're in my squad. I think that'd be very interesting to see in that regard. But Jerome?
Yeah.
I just want to say, I really appreciate you showing up every fucking week this season. It hasn't gone on. I understand that. So, and I really appreciate your support all season long, lad.
Nah, it's all good. That's all good, guys. Because you know what, coming here and like talking to you guys and talking to everybody here, it's good as well. Because just wallowing up and just being depressed because of his team, just bottling all the anger and everything, you need to find a place, talk about it and then just let it all out. So, thanks for giving me that opportunity. I would never thought in the past, I would never be thinking that I'll be on a channel and talking about Tottenham, right? So, big up to you both for giving us all the opportunity of doing this because you guys are doing an amazing job. And again, every single time I keep telling you, best Spurs channel ever because you guys are no bias, no nothing. You always just go talk about the football, and that's what it is about. There's no bias about somebody or you're not going to put some agenda or something. You guys just talk as it is, and big up to you both. And it's been again difficult season, but you guys has always been there and sitting there and just being as much as possible as we could. Yeah,
very nice.
Hopefully next season we can actually have one we can enjoy, Jerome. Because
definitely.
It's good to see a smile on your face, my man. It really is.
But before I go, one thing I want to say. Again, I always talk about my brother Eugene and Dave and everything, but there's one person I always forget. And today, before this last day of the season, so I want to just go and call out Artist D. Artist D, you are a real one too, because I know like everybody always gets angry at his questions, as to what he said and in his views. But Artist D, big up to you, man. Big up to you. Because always you do have your comments and everything, but you make sense, man. And the article that you wrote about why we're getting relegated, man, that was a good piece. That was a very good piece. Very, 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 very good. So big up to you, man. That's all I have to say. Just big up to you.
But you know what? Big up artists here. The thing is, we all actually have a soft spot for artists. You know, for me, it was just like, as soon as the game's end, just let me breathe for like an hour. You know, I don't need 20 questions and reminding how shit we are. I've lived it for the last 3 hours today. You know what I mean? But I do actually like Artist T, and to be fair, I've never once really said he was wrong or anything like that. I know I had a disagreement with him going after Sam because he attended the bus greeting and stuff. But we do actually have a good soft spot for Artist T, to be fair.
Yeah, Artist T is a good debater. He knows how to debate, man. He's really good. He's really, really good. He's somebody where you can have proper conversation with. So yeah.
No, big up Harris. And by the way, people also need to thank Jerome for starting the bandwagon and exposing Thomas Frank as well. So he's played his part in helping us survive. So make sure you say thank you to Jerome. Jerome, you have a great day, my man.
Thanks,
Big up,
Jerome.
boys.
Thank you for all the support this season, man. Thank you, dude.
No worries. Enjoy your summer, guys.
Yeah, man. Hope to see you soon, though. Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Talk about Jerome.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll be there. Don't worry. I'll always be there.
All right. Thank you, Jerome, man. Appreciate
All right.
you.
See you, boys. All right,
see
bye.
you, dude. Bye.
Legend. Now I know, but honestly, big up Jerome. Just quickly, he's been here every single fan show. Unwavering support, and you know what? I've enjoyed listening to him this season, because sometimes with my opinions and I put them out there and I can be a bit like Jerome. It feels like someone's, with me and feels it. So big up, Jerome.
Similar.
Really appreciate it this year. Now, I know Iceman was in the background. He's gone. Not sure if you're coming back in. What's the story there, Ricky? But what we'll do is, for the sake of time, we will keep it moving. We'll bring in Dermo. And then if you're jumping back in, we'll take you as the last caller this evening, Iceman. Dermo.
Tron.
Premier League. So we are Premier League. How are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy we're in the Premier League. It was close there for a while, but I never stopped believing we could do it. I never stopped believing we wouldn't go down. And look, we've it's not good enough where we finished last 2 seasons. I've read out Peter Carrington's statement today on my own show. I swear to God, half of it was written by AI, and the other half has been rehashed what Daniel Levy probably wrote every year. But look, we can't be here again, and we've got to improve, and we've got to have a better summer, and we just got to move on, and we've got to come together now. We've got to come together as one fan base and be united in our love for our football club. And
just you're not sure that though, Dermo, that the fans are together. They do love this football club more than anything. I think they sort of proved that yesterday. No.
I think they did. I think we need more of it. I think, look, I'm not going to dig out the fans on the ground, because the fans that are full of Tottenham home and away this year have been fantastic. I think the away fans have been absolutely brilliant. Every time you go to an away ground, you can hear the away fans singing from minute 1 to minute 90. And I big up people like Brad and people that go to the home games, every home game as well. And you got to big them up, because they make an awful lot of sacrifices to go to games. I think a lot of it's more online, on X or any social media. You see the sort of divide. And I think we have to come together. It's not good enough. These players are not good enough. And changes have to be made. And we have to have a proper window where we go out and buy proper players for once and back a manager. And I'm overjoyed that we're staying up. It's more relief than celebration. I'm relieved. But yeah, I'm glad the season's over. And I don't normally say that, but I am going to miss Tottenham. I can't wait till July again when they come back and we start seeing them in pre-season again. We may hate them. We may curse them. We may think the worst of them. But when it comes to the end of the season, then we've got that sort of 2 months without Tottenham, you do miss it, and you do look forward to July. You do look forward
Yeah.
to videos of the players coming back, and then you've got the transfer window open, and we've got to really get players in early this year, get them in before pre-season, before we go away, and let De Zerbi work his magic. Because I think De Zerbi's an absolute legend for keeping us up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just quickly take this from Tyler. Says the fans celebrated a bit too much. I didn't see people digging out the players like they should have. Not gonna lie. Look, I can only speak for myself and Jack here, but we did say yesterday and today was more about relief and engaging, speaking to the fans today. But then I'm going away for a couple of nights now with the owl lad, just to sort of kick back, relax, and get him away from everything and bring his heart rate down again and stuff like that. 'Cause it's not good for him. But as soon as I'm back, we will then start digging into the squad players and stuff like that, 100%. But like yesterday, I wouldn't have been in the right mind frame to hit on all the points I want to hit on each individual, just purely out of relief and stuff like that. But don't worry, the content is coming. Yeah, from next week onwards, about digging out these players and squad overall and all that sort of stuff. Dermo, you did, like you said, you did read Sharrington's statement today. Now I know fans have asked for accountability. You could argue they gave that in the opening, but I think Jerome also makes a good point. Is it again them just shifting the blame? The reality is Daniel Levy was gone, in the summer. After that, sort of, they did have their hands on the football club and they didn't do any better. Where are you at with the statement? Do you believe in what they're telling you and what they're saying to you, or are you going to wait and see what the actions are?
I don't believe it. I don't believe anything they read. I want to see actions. I want to see me to be proven wrong, to be fair. Look, you are right. Daniel Levy did leave, but he did leave at the end of the window. And then we did have January as our first window without Levy, and the Muppet that was in charge convinced everyone that we didn't need players. I think at one point he had somebody dressed up as Madison as a decoy to run up onto the grass and say, "Look out the window! Look, there's Madison. He's on the pitch. He's coming back." So why he's still been left in the job, I do not know. And for what I've been told and what I'm hearing, that they're going to take that at the end of the window to find out what to do with Lang and co, which I think is ridiculous. That
the end of the transfer window,
the end of the summer window, the end of the summer window. What I was told were dropped into me last night. I know Dave wants to go on holiday now, but no, I'd actually read out. I read you exactly what was said.
Breaking news here from the Tron. Dermo's going to be news anchor now for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, I am. I just need to find it. Where did I put it? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I got to get more. Where is it? Yeah. Johan Lang is always a remainder in the position, and it's expected to continue leading the recruitment heading into the summer window. Despite criticism from sections of the fan base, there is currently no concrete reporting suggesting Lang is close to being removed. Spurs instead expected to evaluate the effectiveness of the recruitment team after the summer rebuild window. I mean, that for me is absolutely scandalous. He should have been gone, and he should have been gone now. But it shows the incompetence of the board again. It shows these boards, and the thing is, we have to, these protests that Change for Tottenham do, or anyone does, we need to get behind them now. There's too much of, we're not going to get behind it because it's going to disrupt the team. Well, there's no football for the next 2 months. Get outside the training ground. Protest outside there. Keep protesting every day. I'm going over in June to, Dover's got family in England. I'm going over. I'm meeting up with Billy in one day when I'm down there. We're going to go protesting for an afternoon outside the training ground. And I will video it because I want change in my football club. We should never get rid of Paratici. We should have kept Paratici and listened to him, and we wouldn't be in this mess, I don't think. But, I'm just fed up of this ownership, and they've killed our football club. That's the thing that hurts me the most. Tottenham's got no soul, no heart. And it breaks my heart because this is not the club I grew up supporting. This is not the same football club I grew up supporting. And I grew up supporting a club that was to dare, was to do, that was always in the transfer market, buying their players. We always have players we can hang our hat on. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a sad state of affairs that I know West Ham got relegated and we can all be slightly happy with that. But their football club is got no soul. You hear them fans against their owners. You look
I'm
at all the
delighted it
clubs in
doesn't
the
have a soul.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is these football clubs are people's life, are people's only enjoyment every other week. And these people coming in, especially with us, coming in and just killing us as a football club. They don't care about the fans. All they care about is getting Beyonce in or getting the Gorillas in or that.
I think Tyler doesn't mind Beyonce coming in, to be fair.
Well, I don't think nobody would mind Beyonce coming in, if I'm being honest. But the point is, the money should be going into the football club, not into a hotel, not into something. And they're not even really generating the area. And Tottenham's High Road has been the same since I can remember it as a kid.
Well, they're not responsible for the whole high road. They have put in stuff around.
They're responsible in a way of football clubs in a community like Tottenham should be responsible for helping regenerate the area. That is their job because they depend on people within the community to come and help them. They should be a little bit put back. Football clubs don't care about genuine fans now. It's all about the market. It's all about bringing in boxes and bringing in more people with more money and more corporate. I think the normal going fan is gone. And I think to somebody comes in and recognises that Tottenham is a massive football club with a massive history, we need to remember who we are. And we don't know who we are at the moment. We've got no identity. And I think that's the biggest thing for me this season is it's really shown me that we've lost our way, who we are. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for me this season. And Robert De Zerbi, you are a feckin' legend. You are a feckin' legend, my man, to keeping us up. Because what he's done in the amount of time he's been here, 7 games, has been remarkable. Fair play to him. But backing.
Just on your point about the club helping the local area, though, Darmo, they did build the London Academy of Excellence, which is a 6th-form college. They helped fund the construction of a primary school. They did put in, they did build some affordable homes and stuff like that around the area and stuff like that. So, there's only so much they can do. You can't put it all on Tottenham to regenerate the whole area.
No, I know that. And you're right in what you're saying, but I just think as Tottenham always were in the past a very generous club when it came to the community. They always did their bit. And they continue to do, but as you said, they continue to do, but I just think they need to do a bit more.
Yeah.
Tottenham, I just want Tottenham to be Tottenham again. I don't think it's an awful lot to ask. And just be who we're meant to be. A swashbuckling, attacking side that plays good football, that cares about the supporters, that cares about the fans. And everything else comes second. Put football first for a change.
Yeah.
But everything else second. And that's all we're asking for.
No, 100%. And look, it's going to be a long summer. I'm hoping there's going to be sweeping changes at board level, sweeping changes in the club, within the squad, which would hopefully make it a busy summer. Let's wait and see. Tyler Paratici said Fiorentina too. Yeah, I've seen that. But guys, make sure you do get over and subscribe to Dermot's channel. But Dermot, before we let you go, I also want to say a massive thank you to you as well. You've been here all season long on these fan shows, almost nearly every pre-match build-up as well. So I really appreciate your show of support, towards the channel, Darmo. Thank you.
Look, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this channel. This is where I got my break, and this is where I started my YouTube journey. I apologize. I haven't been in for the last few games, last few pre-match shows at the end of the season. I do apologize. If I wasn't there, I was there in spirit. And you guys have been a massive help to me on and off YouTube. And if it wasn't for you two, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have the confidence doing now. So you guys deserve every credit, everything you get, because you're the best YouTube channel out there.
Thank you, Tron.
Appreciate that, Tron. Get your headset sorted and let's get on some clubs over the summer.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm putting it out here now. I'm putting a challenge between my channel and your channel for a game. That would be interesting.
No problem. The last channel that done that, Spurs related, they haven't come back since.
Yeah, they've
looking
gone
for it.
into.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
They've gone
I've got
into
a secret
extinction.
weapon, though. I have a secret weapon.
Yeah, you have one. We have about 11, so that's fine. No
Yeah,
problem.
but we have what might put you off playing. You might rage quit if it works.
Well, if they're anything like the showing you gave us in the 4 games that you gave us this year, don't think it's much of a challenge. But look, we duly accept. That's no problem, Darmo.
Yeah.
We'll set that up and see you again soon,
definitely.
Tran.
See you, Tron.
Yeah, see you
Thank
again
sir.
soon. And then,
Thank you for the
yeah,
season.
thank you. Yeah, you too, and have a great summer. And any news, I give it to you first and fastest.
All right.
See you later.
Tran,
Thanks, Tron.
See you later. Bye-bye.
have a good evening, my man. Legend. And there is one last person I do want to say a massive thank you to, is also Mia. I know she popped in and had to go, but another one who's been here all season long, coming on these fan shows.
Yeah.
Really appreciate all your support all season long, Mia. Big up and thank you.
Hopefully we do get to talk to her next week. She said that she'd be on next week, and plenty of questions for her. There's just so much to chat about, funny enough. I know it is a lot of relief and everything, but there is actually a lot to chat about now that the season is finally done. Believe it or not, it's kind of ironic. Usually it's the other way around. Usually, like, by the time the season's done, it's kind of just regular sort of pieces about wrapping up the season. But I think in our case, there's so many questions, so many things to look forward to, good and bad.
So many departments to delve into.
So much about what actually did happen and actually having to unpack it still. Not that it's really been properly addressed and everything. So much to chat about. Looking forward to many more fan shows of it. Big up to Mia. Big up to Chris too. Hopefully we do get to chat to Chris sometime.
Yes, Chris, my brother.
Coming back. And apologies to anyone we might have left out. And thank you to all the support today from so many people in the chat and from people who've just popped in and said hello. We really do appreciate you guys. Very generous support. And James Coffey, man, in New York, saying the only asset Spurs have now is De Zerbi, but no one player is good enough to persuade top players to join. Paratici is not the solution.
Look, I definitely agree with the first part. I think De Zerbi is our biggest selling point right now in that regard, for sure. Look, what I will say is Paratici did bring players to the club that maybe you didn't think we were able to get at the time. And I do think there's a massive difference between Paratici's operations and someone like Johan Lang's. And I do think, and I keep stressing this, I might even do a video about it in the summer, about the importance of the director of football coming in, because I think sometimes as fans, we're just guilty of going, sure, just another name up there. What does he actually do? And then we put everything on the manager. But like, football has changed without any real massive media companies really having this discussion. But the only manager that is going to be an official manager next season in the Premier League is Xavi Alonso. Everyone else is head coaches now, and they're not the ones that are recruiting the players. The sporting director of football, their job is sort of overall squad planning, what they want the product to look like on the pitch, and the players they bring in to make that happen. And the players they're signing are supposed to last the manager. And that's why they're going down this route. And I would argue, I think there needs to be a bit of a 50-50. I think they should be in charge of long-term planning, like youngsters and stuff like that. But a manager should get more say in signings that we make at this football club. And that's why the director of football is so important. And when we sign these guys, we really need to look into their body of work.
Yeah. I do agree, though. That's where I kind of pushed back on Jerome a little bit, James, when he said, like, what's there to look forward to type of thing. And it's like, well, De Zerbi, like, obviously, he's the guy who single-handedly saved us from relegation when it looked like it was impossible. He practically performed a miracle in plenty of people's eyes. And then now, like, he's clearly able to get a lot of players on side. He's brought some people back, maybe into the squad, into maybe belief in the team and the club again that you wouldn't have maybe thought would have been that way. The likes of, I don't know, Van de Ven, for example, seems to be a reformed man now under De Zerbi. There seems to be new buzz around the training ground. Obviously, tactically, he seems to be on par with what needs to be there for us in order for us to compete in the top echelons of the Premier League. Like, I just think there is a lot of positives just from De Zerbi alone. And he might be actually some of the only positives, to be fair.
Yeah.
But he does come with not just him being a good manager, but the fact that he does, like I've said a million times before, I think he does check a lot of boxes that we need as a football club. Because I think, to Dave's point, we are very dependent on a good footballing director. We can't just chop them in, chop them out, and just expect the club to still operate functionally. We're really reliant on a good footballing director, but then also a competent manager that's
Yeah.
able to deal with a lot of shit, not a lot of things going their way, often big blow-ups in the media, results that turn out to be catastrophic, not losing their heads, so many different things that Spurs kind of need in a manager, to be honest. And I think
Yeah.
De Zerbi could end up checking a lot of those boxes for us. It looks like
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you,
And then
James.
we've got-
Glad you're
big up,
listening.
James. And thank you for, again, tuning in all season, my man. I really do appreciate it. And Colin, remember, for 4 months, my emotions post-season, relief, disbelief, and anger. I think everyone's gone through them 3 stages, to be brutally honest with you, Colin. You know, yesterday when the goal went in and the final whistle went, it was relief. And, you know, later on in the evening, it was disbelief. We found ourselves in the situation. And then you wake up today and you're sort of angry that we're in the situation. I think you summed it up perfectly. And that's why we have you on Thursday evenings, my man.
Yeah, big up, Colin. The disbelief part is kind of some of the stats that you're given of like, that is the first win at home since October or something like that, I think was the stat. And there are times when you're also looking at it where Spurs or something had 8 points. I think Dave brought this up, that Spurs had 8 or 9 points or 11 points under De Zerbi in 7 or 6 games. And then that was more points than Spurs had in something like 23, 24 odd games. Like nearly the entirety of the season. Like, it's just stats like that make you realize you're like, yeah, we really truly were a relegation team. Like, we were awful. Big up, Colin.
Yeah. Big up, Colin.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to everybody. A lot of generous support today, a lot of viewership, a lot of people popping in saying hello. We're not going anywhere. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Of course, the season's done, but it's not done over here. So looking forward to seeing you guys throughout the summer. Really do appreciate all the support. Please, just, if you can, smash the like button. And we'll be back when we're back. Appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your evenings. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. We are Premier League.